And so it is. Greetings, my beloved brothers and sisters. I am Ikara. It is my great honor and pleasure to welcome you home to Pioneers College after a journey that took you many lifetimes to complete. My heart does not attempt at welcoming you to any type of organization, nor does my hand beckon for you to enter the walls of restriction or guruship. I, Ikara, greet you at a place of recognizing our equal footing and ancestry, in the hopes of activating within you the rebirth of your own deeply rooted potential, your own sense of power and mastery. As Adamus Saint Germain, who is in close creational connection to this school, has said on occasion, Pioneers College is an ascension school, which is not about finding followers, but about activating leaders, way-showers, and pioneers of consciousness expansion. Next to Adamus Saint Germain and myself, this heartfelt outreach from us to you comes from so many that have walked beside you on the journey. But one who I would like to mention especially with regards to all of this is the beloved, the dearly beloved Ketumi Lal Singh, who, as always, often remains the quiet one when it comes to these things, but whose unrelenting enthusiasm is probably, if not definitely, the biggest driving force of this project concerning humanity's ascension into new energy existence. I do not believe I have ever met or entered into a process of creation with two beings that have a greater love for humanity's purpose as I have witnessed in my passionate and co-creative embrace of Adamus Saint Germain and Ketumi Lal Singh. I felt it appropriate to at least mention this to all of you, and as I know that there are many connecting to these words right now that agree with the gratitude I am expressing, I invite you to take a moment to celebrate these beings along with yourself for the many choices they and you have made and continue to make on behalf of humanity and evolution on a personal and cosmic scale. That being said, of course, there are countless others that I will not mention in this moment, but that you will personally connect to during your experiences here at Pioneers College, as they will be sharing their wisdom, insights, love, and humor with you. This Pioneers College Ascension project comes about at a time of extreme change. Whether humanity is aware of it or not, everyone is going through intense shifts that are taking people out of their current life cycles. It is to be felt everywhere and by everyone, although many pretend not to and continue on with their day-to-day as though nothing is amiss. Everyone is aware of, but pretends not to notice, the elephant in the room, the man behind the curtain. Everyone is feeling uncomfortable about life right now in one way or another. Everyone notices the pressure of their own life cycles that have generated stuck patterning and a detrimental, if not eventually lethal, linear causality, which for years has been celebrated under the guise of uniqueness as the spawned result of conscious and subconscious identity and personality formation. I do not have to remind you that these personalities that have become the core of what and who you think you are not real. They have nothing to do with your I am presence and are only formed around you as a strict network of do's and don'ts to benefit those that have had power over you for so long by manipulating this strict network's wants, needs, and desires. Of course, it is not my intent for this introductory message to become long-winded, nor do I wish to flood your gates with dreary information about any past or future vision. Yet, I do wish to remind you that humanity, and many other races with it, has been mentally ill now for a long time. In many cases, this has led to a sustainable insanity, and this, in many of your Earth's cultures, is the normal blueprint at current of a person's identity. Many people have become entangled with a type of hidden but chronic form of manic depression, and most others are at least at the verge of a dysfunctional existence, either emotionally, psychologically, mentally, spiritually, or even physically. Many, however, would also disagree with me, as they would not see the evidence of this when they look around them in life. Yet I say to those that the evidence is right in front of them, but has been cloaked under a social veil of normality. It is happening right now, and it has been happening for a very long time. But I am here to say that it is not going to continue anymore, this mass mental disease. Life on Earth, and life on many other planes and places with her, has not always been the way it is now. I do not talk about a difference on a technological scale. I am talking about a scale of intelligence, and this may be a word you would not be expecting. Intelligence, which, over the course of the last 100 or so generations, has become the foundation of a mental prison system. I bring up this idea of intelligence because it is not only in mystic circles that these truths of unity versus illusion resound. Isn't it one of the leading intellectual brains in this dimension that you know by the name of Albert Einstein himself, who has said, and I quote, "A human being is part of the whole, called by us universe, a part limited in time and space. He experiences himself, his thoughts and feelings, as something separated from the rest, a kind of optical illusion of his consciousness. This delusion is a kind of prison for us, restricting us to our personal desires and to affection for only a few persons nearest to us. Our task, then, must be to free ourselves from this prison by widening our circle of compassion and to embrace all living creatures and the whole of nature in its beauty." Indeed, has humanity's very pride, ladies and gentlemen, namely intelligence, which supposedly sets it apart from animal life, become a doomsday device? If what Albert Einstein says is true, and it is one of the founding principles of this Ascension College that it is, then the very presence of a separating intelligence is part of the optical illusion of consciousness, as Einstein calls it, if not the reason for the illusion of separation itself. Einstein knew that the knowledge he was uncovering wasn't coming from him, nor was it miraculously discovered because of his larger usage of brain potential. It came from the universe itself, and it would only come to Einstein whenever he realized that he was, in fact, meticulously connected to the universe, if not containing within himself the universe itself, in all of its infinite dimensions of potential. Einstein knew that his mind and brain could only take him that far, and that from a certain point onward he had to trade logic for intuition, knowledge for knowing, and wisdom for imagination. Whenever he got to that part where mathematical logic would no longer suffice, Einstein would rest his head quite literally and dive into the dimensions of expansive consciousness. His preferred vessel for this was sleep, in front of his blackboard, in fact. Typically, as he rested in his comfortable but worn-out chair, he would hold a stone in his hand that he jokingly would call his philosopher's stone. The moment he would actually drift off into sleep, this stone would fall from his hand and would awake Einstein with, quite literally, the answer right in front of his nose. He had connected to the totality of the universe in that moment of near sleep, and knowledge simply was available to him as he gave up the linear principle. Sometimes there would even be moments when Einstein would not hear the stone hit the floor, and when he would wake up hours later, the answer would be on the blackboard, written down. Einstein was a subconscious channel who later on would become conscious in his constant connection to the universe and to Creator. As such, in Einstein's case, personality was not present as the dominant operating system within his consciousness, you see. His larger brain, as it is often referred to, with increased neurosynaptic activity, allowed him to not make connections on the level of neurosynaptic pathways when an interdimensional breakthrough was needed for his concepts to make sense. Instead, this brain allowed him access to the universe, as it truly carried within itself an active pineal lobe, and as such an akonai. This type of setup, let's call it, is what Ayakara call the sharpened mind, and it is the type of intelligence that will be sustained in these new energy times. It is this sharpened mind that you will develop as well in the coming years, although it is only a minor spectral of the total spectrum of your ascension training, a training which will result in the ability to no longer be limited to a specific set of values, but free to experience infinite variables called attributes within a non-specified continuum. Although few people ever knew this, in the last 10 or so years of his life, Einstein became what is known as the keeper of mystery, meaning that he became responsible for maintaining a certain set of crystal discs that contain cosmic knowledge as experienced from Earth's point of view. These crystal discs were handed to him by none other than Adamus Saint Germain, who has worked closely with Albert over the years and became a steady guide in his research for consciousness expansion and his desire to explore the undefined. Of course, when I mention these crystal discs, do not think I am referring to a material manifestation. These discs really are vibratory spaces with frequential sequencing on a crystallized level that allows for infinite amounts of information storage. Among this information is knowledge that has not resurfaced for hundreds of thousands of years, not even during the days of Lemuria or Atlantis. The time was not ready for it, but now it is. Now all the masters of exploration, including you, have returned to Earth in all of her beautiful dimensions to take this unprecedented next step of quantum dimensional ascension. When Einstein left Earth at the end of his most recent incarnation, he did so with a fully activated Akonai but a near dormant Akene, and basically an almost non-existent Adonai. If you seek a better understanding of these principles and concepts, I refer you to the introductory talk and the first few parts of the Alchemy of Ascension series, which are available within the vibratory space of this college. The reason for Einstein's leaving Earth was for him to continue his exploration of self and to activate the two remaining power centers in his beingness, or essence. In the meantime, and with the cooperation of Adamus, Kutumi, Tobias, myself, and many others, Einstein has undergone the necessary interdimensional, interlaced experiences that have allowed him to put the finishing touches on his last life cycle in order to take control of these power centers, and now has kindly offered his services as teaching facilitator within this Pioneers College of Ascension. He is one of the teachers that you will come to know. I have, with his kind permission of course, used Albert's most recent life as an example of the opposite of personality-based intelligence, in the hopes of allowing you to understand more about the potentials that you currently possess. So, with all of that being said, let us now take a moment to dive deeper into the foundation and philosophy of all of this. Why have mystery schools been created in the first place? Why were they a necessity? And why are they resurfacing now? To understand this is to understand the current situation of human consciousness, and that is what I would like to discuss right now, on a metaphorical level perhaps, but definitely based on current planetary, personal, and interpersonal affairs. The thoughts of the universe are yours. They always have been. In the course of the last several thousands of years, lifetime after lifetime, many have simply forgotten how to listen. No longer does one hear the silent voice of one's own true being radiating out. No longer does one observe the attributes of one's own thoughts. Instead, many listen to or get hooked on impulses that are generated by institutions, corporations, marketing schemes, and even governments, consciously and subconsciously so. From the moment we learn language and attend schools with knowledge and history generated by said institutional forces belonging to cultures and societies, these impulses slowly but surely close us off to the true natural vibrations and frequencies of the self-creating universe, and we lose our knowledge of the God that lives throughout all, including the infinite dimensions of self. Humanity, and so many races with it, has been in prison for so long. It will continue to remain in prison until enough people discover the truth of the illusions that they have believed and existed in for thousands of years now. About 100 years ago, these illusions were still subtle enough in their creational impact for their parasitic qualities to go mostly unnoticed. The parasite, so to speak, did not immediately disease the host, but gradually took control of its new feeding grounds. Now, these illusions have become so blatantly obvious that day after day I am amazed at those who do not see the illusionary construct in which they live their very lives. The prison is not made of bars and metal, but of thought brainwaves, belief systems, and so much more. A world where the consumer, in fact, has become that which is being consumed. The systematic presence and recurrence of these belief systems from very early childhood onward, lifetime after lifetime, creates a type of energy patterning which shows up in matter as a standard type of neurosynaptic pathways in the brain. The collection of these pathways and their ability to interact with one another is heavily reliant on cultural and social imprinting of the emotional field, again from a very early age onward. All of this means that the parasite has quite effectively penetrated the building blocks of life, the biological DNA, with a favorable preset to form these neurosynaptic pathways as the standard modus operandi for the brain. Another attribute of the depth of this penetration is a predetermination on a DNA level of the human brain to obey certain types of energy expressions and vibratory fields that have to do with authority. Ultimately, the parasite manifests itself and takes over the conscious awareness in the form of that which is now called a personality or an identity. At that moment, exponentially so, the free, conscious human being has become an intellectually enslaved human animal, thinking it is an independent person, but having now forgotten the part of itself which is the underlying and sovereign I am, the reason for life itself. The good news is that the damage is definitely not irreversible, and it only exists within what has been labeled the subfrequential pockets of reality. The subfrequential parasite can be removed, or rather it can be balanced out, neutralized, integrated. Humanity and many other races have come to this point now in a seemingly unconscious way, where many think that we have arrived at a critical moment of choice. I, however, happen to know that on a level of intercreational mass consciousness, which is also interexpressive by the way, this choice has been made. You You can discover more about all of this in the libraries of this Ascension School if you prefer to know more details, and I would encourage you to do so at your leisure. The point I want to get to, as far as this part of my introductory talk is concerned, is that all I have discussed with you so far is not as unfamiliar to you as you may think, nor is the arrival of this so-called parasite of personality a mere coincidence. The same goes for the extensive knowledge you instinctively carry about reality, and this active Ascension School, and this whole time of choice. None of these things are a coincidence. In order for you to truly understand this, however, I must ask for your trust and discernment, as I am about to share with you some archaic memories which you are not carrying in your current physical brain. These are memories of times long gone, before this body you now sit in was created. To do so, I will go somewhat deeper into the main theme of this talk, and it's a topic that has triggered fantasies for many of you, the great mystery schools of the past, which have been around in one way or another for thousands of years. You who are hearing or reading these words right now have also been around for thousands of years, as you have been connecting to these mystery schools lifetime after lifetime in your search for meaning in an ever-increasing meaningless world. As you originally came into this vibratory space-time you call the third dimension, you entered with a heart and soul of exploration. It would be your chosen task to define the undefined space-time that was here, beginning with the most exposed layers and burrowing your way deeper into it until you would reach the bottom. In your enterprising spirit, you quickly became aware, though, of the veil of forgetfulness and your strong desire to remember who you are, where you came from, and where you were going at all occasions. This is when your connection to these schools started, a tie that would stay for incomprehensible amounts of time. There came a point, however, when you had learned all that you could learn, a time even where you had mastered the art of cross-lifetime memory retention. That being achieved, many did not know what to do or where to go next. With the theory now firm in place and even turned into practice, some decided to start their own schools from a place of good intent, but quickly found that this endeavor could not lead them to a place of excitement and zest for life. Something else was needed. It was at this time that one raised its head and stood tall against the inevitable. Many knew it had to be done, but only one had the audacity to actually do it. This one I am referring to you now have come to know as the ascended being, Adamus Saint Germain. A principal of many schools at that time, and an old pupil of mine, Adamus had had a seat on the Mystery Council for quite some years. The Mystery Council was meant as an umbrella organization to unify and at the same time maintain the secret nature of the schools. Adamus, in strong telepathic connection to all consciousness pioneers of that time, sent out a message claiming that the mystery school system would sink into the metaphysical depths of the ocean, passing into the realms of Lemuria and Atlantis, that they would disappear into the mists, much like Avalon, until the time comes that the veils of forgetfulness, which have now become a hindrance for us enlightened ones, can be lifted. Adamus continued what to me and those like me has become a timeless speech. I quote, "In the meantime, I urge all of you to seek the most normal lives you can, and to do that which you have in all your years of connection to your school not been able to do, to take the final test. Bury all of your wisdom and gained sense of self deep within the chasms of your essence shining through. In short, I am inviting you to close off from the light one last time, to take the plunge and see if the wisdom has been installed within you deep enough for it to resurface even without stimulation. As Adamus went on with his telepathic speech, he reminded each of you to the importance of this final test, not just for yourself, but for all that you would encounter. In short, you would become a shining beacon in the night, without any memory or association to your enlightened past. Most importantly, however, and what tipped everyone over to Adamus's point of view, was the fact that you could explore the realms of the non-self one last time before fully emerging into the land of self, the edge of which you have now reached. All could see the validity of this idea, and it was executed shortly thereafter. From that moment on, Adamus Saint Germain would take responsibility in his own way to maintain the wisdom and memory of these schools on earth as far as he could. As he had already reached ascension status at the time of this happening, he opted to leave the human shell behind, as he believed he could be of the greatest assistance elsewhere, and joined the ranks of my realms. This tale is not meant to be a history lesson. Rather, it is yours, and if you like, you can feel its truth inside of you at this very moment. Carry it with pride. In your final test, namely this lifetime you are currently experiencing, you have made it your task to collect the pieces of your puzzle once and for all. All the knowledge you had built up over the lifetimes, now found in only one. Achieving this has been the goal of your life, until you hit this point, this very moment. Take some time to reflect on this. I believe many events will begin to make more sense, do they not? Knowing all of this, I want to bring up a very important reminder that you may need now that you are in the process of adapting your current life cycle. Do not mistake 20 or 30 or 50 odd years, maybe even, or more of personal history with the importance of thousands of years of soul experience. People do this so often, as it is part of the personality parasite program running in the brain. I do not need to remind you that humanity is not a race, it is an attitude, and this attitude reaches across your lifetimes. You, quite literally, mark the beginning of this, as you are in the process of, or have already in some cases, broken free from the parasite program. Before I move on to the next thread in this talk, there is one more thing I wish to mention. I have not finished discussing with you the whole of Adamus's telepathic plan. There was another part to it, and this was the idea that all of you doing this would lead to a type of drilling effect. What is meant with this is that many, if not all, of you have willingly chosen to drill as deep into subfrequential reality as humanly possible, quite literally, so that the snapback effect of humanity waking up from their personality dream would have the most reach and momentum possible. Imagine a rubber band that is stretched to its maximum, and you will know that upon release the most energy and speed will be released in restoring the rubber band to its original shape. This snapback effect has now happened for you and is about to happen for all of humanity in the coming years. It happens in that moment when you simply can no longer ignore the calling of your heart and soul to be an explorer once more. This idea is captured in the essence of explorism, which is the main philosophy behind ascension schools such as this Pioneers College. Explorism is an active and expressive, heartfelt way of existence. It is the act of defining the undefined. This idea was very much alive in Lemurian, Atlantean, and Aramaic times, and it was the foundation for the mystery schools that we have now discussed and that you attended during many of your life cycles. In different places it may have meant slightly different things, but the core was always the same. You are the heart of all things, and in that beingness you are the expressor and the expressed within all things. When this central reason for being is acknowledged, one recognizes one's own explorer spirit. Now when this becomes manifest, the surrounding interactive and holographic universe receives a key from your 142 strands of energy DNA. This key tells the holographic universe, which is an expression of you, that you are ready for a high-level pursuit of the game of explorative existence, and the universe will then respond in manifesting realities that will sustain this endeavor as long as it remains pure, meaning as long as it is experienced from the vantage point of the highest frequential speed of the vibratory space. Even though you would imagine otherwise, this life cycle you are now experiencing is considered by your soul as the height of explorism itself, the greatest challenge you have ever given yourself, and, beloved brothers and sisters, you have just succeeded in mastering it. Don't take this lightly. Now is the time to realize that you are indeed not a flesh and blood human, but that you are a 12 vibrational being, existing on a spectrum of 144 frequencies, 12 for each vibration. This has been told to you so very often, but now it is actually possible for you to feel it and live it if you only allow it. These 12 vibrations, of course, are connected to your 12 senses, and in the Alchemy of Ascension series, I, Ikara, will discuss this idea with you in a set of exploratory talks that are designed to make you remember and use these senses once again. The parasitic patterning of personality and emotion, which we have discussed in the course of this talk, has been in place to keep you locked into the lowest possible frequency within each vibration. This idea is why it is possible for others to control your choices and potentials. It was the foundation of old energy existence, the notion that made the follow the leader paradigm possible to begin with. The reason is simple. Consciousness and awareness at that low a frequency level is sluggish and cannot make a proper choice, which is why it gladly accepts any so-called logical choice which is offered. The mind-ego-personality construct is a creation then to cope with this perceived lack of frequency speed, and now has come to replace, in some cases, all energy senses which connect you to this interactive experience in a holographic universe we call life. Again, I and others will go deeper into all of this as this college's curriculum is generated. At the beginning of this talk, I opened by stating that humanity has arrived at a time of great change, and of course I, Ikara, am not the only source declaring this. It is felt and talked about in every part of your personal lives as well, but it is even measurable. Today, science is beginning to agree with the knowing of your soul, as its tests and observations have shown that this solar system and this universe with it is increasingly speeding up the amount of particles that is being generated by the sun, as has the vibrational speed of those particles increased. Simply put, science now understands that what they once considered a vacuum no longer is empty space. And this, ladies and gentlemen, announces the arrival of new energy. It is that simple indeed. This increase in particle presence and particle speed is also supporting scientific evidence of the coming quantum ascension, as I've previously explained. From a science point of view, ascension is reaching a higher level of energetic vibratory existence on a personal and a universal scale. Now, this is happening, and it is unstoppable, as it is a universal and benign phenomenon. Also, it is where you, dear Master Explorer, come in. All of what I have discussed so far in this introductory talk in honor of the start of this Ascension College leads me then to the following. Everything that all of my colleagues, and me included, have ever shared with you was in preparation for what is to come now. Everything that you, as a soul, have ever done was in preparation for what is ahead. The time for theory, the way you have known, has come to an end. You are awake, ready, and able. You are exactly where you need to be, and you should celebrate that fact. The only thing that can hamper you now, as I have already indicated, is the little problem of your past experiences of this lifetime and your associations to them. This is the only thing that can possibly hold you back at this point, and you have prepared for that eventuality a long time ago as well. Now is this moment here, ladies and gentlemen, to claim that unexplainable strength that rests deep inside of you and only wakes up once in every lifetime, allowing you to do what you and others once thought of as the impossible. We, and this college, and all that it means, are here to support you in continuing on with your choice for ascension, knowing that you are making it for the right reasons. We will be your community when you need it, embracing you in your sovereign differences. As I have said at the very beginning, we are not an organization. We, together with you, are simply what is needed now, as it is the continuation of your path to do this. The rise of Pioneers College comes at a time of perfect holographic alignment. We have chosen April 11th, 2009 to make the college's stamp on linear reality for numerological reasons, as it fits the unfoldment of the universe and all things. In numerological theory, this date equals an 8 with, in its core, an 11 as a year stamp. These are the perfect holographic qualities to stimulate the attributes of infinity and mastery on both an internal and external level. The moment, in other words, that God or you meets God or you, and you truly recognize who you are and fall in love, so to speak, with all things around and within you. It is at this time that this unexplainable strength I was telling you about earlier clicks into place. You simply activate and know from deep within that there is no more turning back. You will know exactly what I mean if you are one who has already felt this or is currently feeling this. It is because of this 8-11 balance that the first year of this Ascension College will deal with returning to you the necessary insights and the like in order to let the walls of your life fall away and to bring back from deep within you the tool of cross-life cycle memory retention. In other words, this first year will focus on getting you back on track to a point that you may begin to access more of yourself and everything that comes with it. This is why you have been preparing for all these many years in some cases, to get to this point. Now the following years, each time on April 11th, will bring the numerological pattern of a 1, in 2010 with a 3 at its core, and in 2011, of course, a double 11. Finally, April 11th, 2012 brings the totality of this hologram with its numerological 1, a 5 at its core, and a total 11 as the essence of that core. Translated, this means that Pioneers College, holographically speaking, is about moving theory into practice, a feat which we believe to be most needed at this point. This 2009 curriculum year, which now truly kicks off with the release of this introductory message, will bring a build-up of previously unreleased theory, while practice and experience will move into your field of experience in a most gentle way. The 2 following years, then, will offer a gradual shift of focus as we move from theory to practice more strongly. These 2 years will bring the return to the 360-day sacred calendar, or the 360-degree full spectrum of life, and will be explored fully in the classes offered by the Achaenaic beingness known as Solaris. As this full spectrum returns, you will be taught all of those practical things that you always knew were possible, but could only experience as theory so far, such as portal travel, as will be taught by Imzaia of tachyonic service, etc. These things will become necessary, as your assistance as a teacher and ascended advisor will be needed by many come early 2012 and onward. Finally, with the advent of April 11th, 2012, we will leave all concepts of theory behind us and fully move into a practical expression of self, a pathway which will be explored more deeply as you fully move into cosmic time, as that which you now know in theory as an ascended being of light and life. After 2012, of course, not only the nature of this college, but the nature of all things will change to such an extent that there is little point in me discussing this right now. What is most important at this moment is that you realize that depending on your own choices in this very now, by April 2012, you can be at the stage of the game where you can truly assist in the great shift of December, which has been the goal of your growth and a moment of conscious choice on your path since the very beginning of your awakening prior to ascension anyway. To understand that on a soul level, this choice to assist and ascend at the same time is a passion that lives in the deepest core of yourself, is to truly comprehend the dear Albert Einstein when he made the statement that would end up being the core motto of mystery schools all over the cosmos. And I quote, "The life of the individual has meaning only in so far if it aids in making the life of every living thing nobler and more beautiful." Remind yourselves of this simple fact often in the coming 4 years of your journey with this Ascension College, for understanding it is understanding life itself. The time has finally arrived, dearest consciousness explorers, dearest mystics, to stop fighting the ego, or anything for that matter. Lay down your arms today and start walking away from your past personality. Let go of your attachments that you built up in this current life cycle and reconnect to the mission and path of your soul. One is linear, the other is eternal. If at any point during the coming times letting go of 3D feels difficult for you, I remind you to not take this type of difficulty personal. Treat it as impersonal, for that is what it is, and it is what will make the difficulty go away with a speed that will quite definitely surprise you. You are at the verge of leaving a subfrequential vibratory space, or a dimension as you have come to call them, and breaking through the very edge of the 3D eggshell can be challenging when you are not properly prepared. Preparing yourself can only be the result of knowing your true environment. In this case, the 3D energy field or vibratory space has the exact same build-up as one of the most common things within your material universe, and that is the concept of a cell. Think about the many trillions of cells in your body and how their cellular structure is created. All cells have a nucleus, or a cell core, and a cellular boundary. The stuff that makes up your cellular core is exactly the same as what makes up the boundary wall of the cell. Not only is it the same structure, but both the cell's core and border carry a similar type of density. This means that the feeling you will have when you are near the cell's core is as dense and compressive as the feeling near the cell's edge. Only between the cell's core and the cell's edge is any level of sustainable density, I would say. This is why most people, even though they are so close to letting go of the 3D eggshell, get discouraged because of the density. Most 3D people are somewhere in between these two great fields of density of the vibratory space that makes up 3D, for it is hardly impossible to exist elsewhere. Those that exist near this core would be considered the ones suffering extreme lives on this earth today. Most 3D inhabitants exist in between the core and the edge of the 3D cell, for that is where duality is the most acceptable. You, however, who have now moved near the very edge, are feeling that density which basically makes you blind. This is the exact reason why beings such as me are in your reality right now, to assist and to allow you to navigate blindly. Knowing this, you may understand some more of the workings of your 3D existence and where you currently are in moving beyond it. After these many words of mine have been spoken, written, heard, and read, one great scholar of consciousness, who was in fact connected to the very last mystery school on earth until the emergence of this one, and who goes by the name of T.S. Eliot, summed it all up when he wrote, "We shall not cease from exploration, and the end of all our exploring will be to arrive where we started, knowing that place for the first time." I have shared this space we have been in together with you as a sovereign being in the hopes of reminding you who you are. I have shared this time with you in this moment as an ambassador of love, joy, and freedom in the hopes of reminding you of who you are. As always, it is my greatest honor to be in this type of service and assistance, to be your eyes and ears for a while as you move away from what you have known to activate the totality of who you are, in the safety of knowing that we are here and that you can rely on us, heavily if needed, for this is the true nature of what we mean to one another. It's what we have always done, and it's the reason why I call you my brothers and sisters. And so, I wish to end this opening statement of mine by sharing with you one of the many great Lemurian sayings. It is how we said goodbye a long time ago, at the end of your mystery school days, and, as we have sworn soul to soul, it is what we would say when finally, again, we would meet. Oya vizachi penchachaya, ich karaya pirpavosh, koshai ambikaya. Until we meet again, eye to eye, may we beat as one heart in the womb of the Great Mother. I am Ikara, and I love you, and so it is.
Loved ones, Imzaia, energy weavers, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome to this moment of now, this moment of your passion, this moment where what you have defined for yourself as reality is becoming real. We are the 12. We have come here today to be a part of you. We have come here because you are a part of us. And we are a part of you. And this has never been any different. And we have invited many of you masters in this room today. We have invited many who were once called angel, many who were once called master, many who have once been called demon. Have we not? We have invited all of you. And here you sit. One big, happy family. And when we talk about family, dear ones, we talk about all of you who are here right now to be the connection, energetically speaking, for so many others who would not heed these words, so many others who would not hear these words, who would mock at meetings like this one, who would mock at the ones now sitting in the chairs, such as you are. But you are their connection. That which you are experiencing on a conscious level, they are experiencing on a subconscious level. And who are these they? Who are they? Well, they're your loved ones. They're your family. They're your colleagues. They're everyone you know. Everyone you touch on a daily basis. Well, all of these people are now here. All of them. Energetically. Through you. Did you think that during the day when you opened up a portal, that what you did was something that happened outside of you? What you did was opening up the portal that is you. And this is quite different from what you've been doing before, isn't it? Because you have always been these puny little humans, in your mind at least, that have no reality, that have no base on which to found their magic. Well, now you do. Now you do. You have awoken in the year 2007. And the fact that you are still here on the planet today means that you are, indeed, a cosmic master. It means that you have indeed played all the other games, all the other interesting planets that you've been on. The 11 other planets of free choice. You have been on them. So 12. Tell us, you say. Tell us about all those people that dropped away from my life in the last few years. Tell me about those, 12. Well, Imzaia. Well, Energy Weaver. Master. Angel. These are the ones who have supported your previous vibration. You are now ready for something completely different. You are now ready for a game of your own volition, of your own making. One where you are the keepers of your own energy. This is what is happening now. It is happening now. So, here you are, in a town in Holland, listening to these words, be it in body or be it in energy. And here you are sitting on a crossroads. Are you not? A crossroads of your own life. Because whether you have come from Australia to be here, whether you have come from Holland to be here, or whether you have come from Belgium to be here, whether you have faced great difficulties to be here or not, you are all on the same crossroads. And that is who you are today. New energy. Teachers of balance. The consciousness of the central sun of the universe. expressing itself in human form. You are so clever. It is not often in this game of free choice that masters decide to enter into a human game, into a game of flesh and blood and disease and all these things. Life and death and birth. Feeling not good about yourself, entering into a state of duality. It's not often that this happened. It's only been happening 11 other times in this universe. And out of all these 11 times, the best were chosen by themselves. By themselves. Not by anyone who had interest in this. You have chosen yourselves to come here again. Now that our introduction is over, we do not wish to speak of what you have already heard. We do not wish to speak of those things that play over and over and over again in your head. We wish to speak of the third wave. Renewal. The recycling of everything that has ever happened on this planet Earth. Because none of your energies have ever gone away. None of them. Anything you see as a loss is actually a gain. Because everything that you have not been able to manifest, create in your lives, has not been thrown in the garbage trash. It hasn't been thrown anywhere where you would lose it. It has been put in the most valuable of places imaginable, the sea of your own potential. Now, we have been talking about about you being the captain of the ship that is your body. We have been talking about the Lemniscarian self, where you are the center of your own universe. We have been talking about so many concepts. And so many of you who are sitting in the chairs today have activated these concepts in their lives. But 12, I am still at the same position that I was before. No, I even think I went a couple of steps backward. Yeah, I actually devolved. Oh yeah, I feel it. I feel it in my body. I'm getting older. I'm not getting younger. I'm missing this boat. Please, 12, tell us what to do. No, we won't do that. Why would we tell you what to do? You are the masters. You are the angels. You are the ones telling us what to do, do you see? If you have been getting the feeling that you have been devolving, if you are getting the feeling that you are getting older, Imzaia, then that's what you're creating. Well, so here you are today, sitting in this course that you have paid quite a deal of money for, to attend. Here you sit, in the chairs. The founders of the solution. You have created what you needed to create to be here, no? Well, so, how about you start looking at this from a different perspective? Can we offer this to you? Can we offer a different angle, Master? Can we offer a different angle, Imzaia, Angel? Can we tell you that this is basically your energetic holiday? This is a gift you have given yourself. To be pampered in this hotel. To find the mints on your pillow. To be offered the wine in your glasses. All of these things you have given yourself as a gift. And why wouldn't you? You have been working so fucking hard. What? It's your language.
You do a pretty good job.
Thank you.
You watch too much.
You have been inventing this language, haven't you? So do you have a problem if we use one of your goddamn words? Anyway, you have been working so effing hard, haven't you? You've been doing all the seminars. You've been cleaning up all the shit out of your system. You have been shedding all the tears. You have been mocked at. You have been laughed at. You have been pushed away. You have been driven away. Not quite different from burning at the stake, only now in energy form, isn't it? So here you sit, and you're ready. Ready for a new life? Ready for a new game to play? Ready for mastership? The act of creation at the simple implementation of thought? This is where you are, Imzaia. Whatever you want to call yourself, human, this is where you are right now. So why didn't you deserve a holiday? We think you did. And as always, when you plan these events for yourself, you just don't go to a tropical island, as our messenger is now attending one during this conversation with you. You just don't go anywhere you want to go out of fun. You want to learn more. You want to become better. You want to find out about the next step, about the third wave, about the following stages in your evolution. You want to do all these things. And so you justify the fact that you are taking this holiday that you are unconsciously doing by learning more. Well, you're getting more than you bargained for. You are not just learning more, you are learning your own authentic way of being. You are the cosmic masters. You are. And it is time that you, all of you, accept this fact, because only when you do that, your lives can truly begin to change. What we will do today and in the coming days with you is going to be a bit more, how shall we put it, a bit more daring than we have done before. We want to take this information that we have been spreading out, that we have been letting entering your bodies. We want to take this information to the next level as well. For you see, you might be in this course that is called level 1, but as humans, you are in level infinity. You have again returned to level 0. The beginning of it all, the end of it all. The Alpha and the Omega. That's where you are right now. And your soul, she doesn't need to learn anything else. Now this is difficult for you, and that's why you all keep coming up with the courses. That's why you all keep coming up with the seminars, don't you? Because you need to get this brain of yours wrapped around the idea that you are somehow perfect. And how could that be when you got the addictions going in your life? How can that be when you got the sin going in your life? And how can that be when you got all of these bad things going in your life that you don't want to have people find out about? How are you going to do this? How are you going to marry these two ideas? That you are perfect, yet you are not perfect. Well, maybe remembering your cosmic heritage might have something to do with that. Maybe remembering your infinite power has something to do with that. Maybe the fact that you're coming to a point where you are now realizing that you are not light at all, that you are not darkness at all, that you are not love, that you are not hate, that you aren't any of these things. You are just energy trying to express itself. Well, maybe this will do the trick, won't it? So here you are, ready for what is about to come in your lives. Well, can we tell you a sad fact? Right now, you are all dead. And you know why you're all dead? Because there are no potentials waiting for you. No. Not even one. And this used to mean death to your energy. The fact that you had no other options to choose from. And this is the difference, Imzaia. This is the difference. Right now, your energy is no longer allowing anyone else to make choices for you, to create choices for you, so that you can choose. Your energy has grown up. So you are now ready to create the choices for you. You want to be an artist? Good, you're an artist. You want to be a prostitute? Good, you're a prostitute. You want to be a channel? Don't go there, it's boring. You want to be anything you want to be? Well, why not? Why don't you free yourself of all the addictions? Why don't you free yourself of all the patterns you have built up over the years that are now part of your evolution? Why don't you free yourself of yourself? Because, come on, do you really like your personalities? Do you really like these people inside of you that can become angry at the top of a hat? That can insult one another without even wanting to? That can create drama out of nothing? Do you want to be these things? If not, then you're dead. And if you're dead, then maybe it's time to be reborn again. You have gone through this process of death and birth. It has happened at the end of December 2006 and completed itself at the beginning of January 2007. At the ascension of the human master. Again, you know this information. Again, we will no longer spend too much time on things you already know, or things you can look up. What we want to do is we want to give you a chance at a new life. We want you to do the thinking for you. We want you to become aware of the power that is here, and that is here, and that is here. The power that is right in front of you. The attitude that you can create everything you want. Yes, we've been talking about this for 10 bloody years. The books have been writing about this for 30 years or more. But are you creating everything you want? Everyone who is in this room right now, if we were to talk to each and every one of you would be able to name a few things on their list of creation that has not materialized yet. And yet we say, it is so very close. It is so close that your senses, your human senses, are not equipped to even see it. Right? Because when, for instance, particles of dust, like you can see appearing in this beam here, when these particles of dust come too close to your eyes, you won't see them. When certain things come too close to your senses, you won't experience them. And so you don't experience us. Because we are right on top of you. We are making love to you every chance we get. We are part of every part of your body. So close, so intertwined, that you no longer feel us. But the only thing we want to do is love you. The only thing we want to do is honor you, because you are on the planet. The last and final planet of free choice. The one that is closing the experiment. And God knows, you know, that all the masters and everyone that ever had a name in this universe has come home for the big finale. It is a lot like your television shows, you know, the shows you see on television. It's quite like that, you know. You have been watching this show you call life for 11 seasons. This is the 12th and final season. The one that will, how shall we put this? That will solve every mystery that there is left to solve. But the only problem is, you don't want this to be the last season. And you didn't want the previous one to be the last one either. So you added on to this experience. You started creating a game within a game. And this desire for continuation has changed everything. It has pushed your bodies into a state of being where all your energy can now be carried within all of it. Are you aware of this? Are you aware you are literally carrying all your lives, all of them, in this body? Could that be an explanation for all your strange behavior in the last few months? The fact that you are liking different foods than you were before. The fact that you are all of a sudden drinking alcohol where you were drinking none before. The fact that you are getting different attitudes about yourself is because you have now got a free rein to all your lives that you have ever lived at once. And again, this is energy. So you can again become the serial killer you were. But you can also become the prophet you were. You can become anything. And this is the great shift from the Akash and the Akashic record to the Akunai. Because you see, you had invented a system for yourselves where you had segmented each and every life you had lived, and every experience, and every thought, and every memory, everything you'd said, everything you had done, were locked up in this one life. That's Akash. And now, with the coming of the Akunai, and we honor everyone who is involved in this, the segmentation, the walls between your lives are gone. And so, you remember everything. everything. And you can take every path you would like to take. And it's like a little game. It's like you're in the supermarket and you got €1,000 to spend on everything you would like, and you're just filling up, and filling up, because you know you have been given this great gift. Well, welcome to the third wave, the great gift. You are now working with a power that is bigger than anything you have ever imagined. And we tell you that there need be no death, there need be no end, there need be no suffering, there needn't be any of this. And why? Why do you continue on this path, we wonder? Why? Why do you continue to create dramas in your life? Why do you continue to fall asleep when all you need to do is wake up into your new energy? Well, that's all there is requested, isn't it? That's all there is requested. You now have the ability, dear ones, to be awake, present, in yourself, in your bodies, in your own energy. 24 hours a day. You have this ability now.
It's so nice to sleep.
You also have that ability. Do you understand that energy is energy, and if you seek to sleep, you sleep. If you seek to be awake, you are awake. What we cannot stand is the frustration you have because you have to sleep. Many people think it's a hassle to go to bed, while in fact it's something they love doing, because for once in their lives it takes away the drama. You see, it takes away their own forced perception of one reality at the same time. We are looking at you right now, and we're looking at your birth, we're looking at your death, we're looking at your rebirth, we're looking at your tomorrow, we're looking at your yesterdays, we're looking at everything you are. While if you look at one another, you just see the one expression. Now we have told that this one expression of now is in fact a good place to be in, because it allows yourself to create whatever it is you want to create. It allows you to play with your own energy. But what if you took the next step? What if you were able to look at your life from every possible angle, from every possible potential right now? You know what? You don't want to do that because you don't want to see the potentials that you don't want to create. Well, a cosmic master is aware of these potentials, but knows what to create and what not to create. Chooses, seeks out what to create and what not to create. We have sent so many like this messenger to this planet so many different times. We have sent so many. Some of you have worshipped these people, others of you have killed and destroyed these people. We don't care. They will keep coming back anyway. But we have sent so many, so that you would be here right now, hearing this message, waking up by slipping from the radars of society. We know you have been frustrated. We know you live in systems where you are forced to contribute to a system that does not that does not fully understand you and especially does not support you, again we implore you, create your own system. Let go what no longer serves you. And so we have offered you all these gifts. We have offered you tools for taking your own vibration above light speed. We have told you about the configuration between the speed of light and the speed of consciousness. We have told you about the 144 lemniscarian cells, cells of infinity, that rest behind your thymus. We have told you about all of these things, and yeah, you haven't gone there, have you? We have told you about the birth of the Akane, and how you can use this power to connect to your small brain in the back of your head, and how you can connect to the midbrain in here. But have you done it? No, you have not, have you? So again we bring forth the Katumi. Again we invite this master energy that is a part of you, that is imploring you now to do this right now. When we will break for lunch, we will have the 12 come in again, and we will invite them to do this exercise again with you, and to let you know how you can be this different energy. Oh yes, we know that once you go towards this Akane, once you go towards this place you call the thymus, and once you find this infinity in here, that things start changing for you. We know because we have seen others do it. We have seen this messenger do it. We have seen that lass over there do it. We have seen all of you do it. And yet, 5 minutes later, you have forgotten it. You thought it was a dream. The gifts are standing right in front of your door, and you delete them. Well, what a waste of energy, Imzaia. What a waste. We no longer seek to separate ourselves from you, because this too is a waste of energy. Because what good would it do to have you talk to you if you don't even want to hear what someone else has got to say? How do you know what you want to say? Well, you should know. How do you know what your mission is in this world and in this experience you call life? How do you know? Well, you know by choosing it. You know by creating these potentials. And again, why don't you? Why don't you? We remember each and every one of you. We were there when you came in, because you were there when you came in, and we were you. And we were standing next to you. Oh yeah, you too. And we remember saying to you, look, we'll give this a shot, this planet of free choice, this Earth, this game you want to play, we'll give it a shot. You know, it's Cosmic Tuesday. What else do we have to do? So we'll do this. And you said, it won't take long. It'll just take a couple of 1,000 years and we'll be ready. We'll be ready for you to come in and talk to us directly. And that has happened. That has happened. Now we are waiting. Now we are giving you the next step. Now we are asking you to stop this nonsense. This nonsense you call life, in which you can suffer, in which you can die, in which you grow old. And again, we don't want to rain on your parade. We have given you the tools, and with the advent and the start of that which you call the school of life, we will be giving you more tools, won't we? Will you use them? Will you stand up and live the life you want to live? Or will you continue to go on as you have been for so long? Because this power is yours. And it is yours to use right now. So, are you ready to go beyond the speed of light, Lemurian? Are you ready to bridge the gap between thought and feeling, Atlantean? Are you ready to part the mists that cross the dimensions, Avalonian? Yes, you are. You know, you would be expecting us to say right now that the average speed of vibration in this room is blah 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 blah. Good news is, you have just broken the light barrier. Oops. Do you have to pay for it now because it's broken? Well, no, you don't. You have broken the light barrier. So here you are, vibrating higher than the speed of light. You have moved past that today, vibrating above the speed of light, and hence existing in the speed of consciousness. The speed of consciousness is, by the way, the slowest speed by which anything in this universe is ever picked up. You are a race now that is taking up its place within this galactic federation. And what else is this central sun, the consciousness of which is talking to you right now? Then the coordinator of this galactic federation. It is time for humanity to step into its role it was meant to carry out. And we want you to develop a sense of knowing, a sense of consciousness, where what you decide, what is true, actually is the truth. But you know, you will find this out in your good time, in your own time. So, dear ones, loved ones, Imzaia, are you ready to play? The average speed of vibration in this room, if we can allow the words of our lovely friend Adamus, our Saint Germain, to come in, the average speed would be about 1.7, the speed of light. You are now at the point, at the very point of where everyone who has called himself or herself a master has always been. You see, the trick is not to get to a very high vibration. The trick is to remain in a very high vibration. And you know what takes you, what pulls you back towards this vibration which is lower than the speed of light? It's the mind. It's the convictions that you have in your life. It's the addictions that you have in your life. It's all of these things that you think you need to do in order to survive. Things that if you do not do them, your life will be destroyed. And for most of you people, this is a very subtle game, isn't it? This is not about, doing the marijuana or doing the heroin or doing the drugs or, all of these things. This is a very, very subtle game. It's about money. And this is basically the reason why we are here today. Money. Because your relationship with money is going to change this weekend. It's not something you're going to change as a core belief. It is something that we will show you as an example of what these cosmic energies are all about. Because when you change your relationship to money, Imzaia, you change everything. It's the plastic surgery of the universe, isn't it? It's the ugly nose on the face of humanity, isn't it? Money. It's a friend and it's a foe. When you have it, you don't want it, and when you don't have it, it's all you're after. Well, we are here to change this relationship this weekend. And how are you going to do that? By understanding that you are now above a vibration that supports money as a polarity in your energy field. Money is an energy that cannot go and vibrate higher than the speed of light. Only consciousness can do that. And once you are at the speed of consciousness, you create everything exactly as you want it to be, exactly, down to the very pores in your skin, down to the weight your body has, down to every inefficient cell of your body. That's the speed of consciousness. So, everything that is in consciousness can be created and uncreated at free will. And so you create a myth. Because you cannot handle the truth. So you warp the story of the Jeshua. Because you cannot handle the truth. Well, you can handle the truth. Hell, you are here to set the truth straight. So, how about we take every excuse out of your lives, everyone, so that you are no longer able to put off what you came here to do? How about we take the money issue out of your lives? We will tell you one little thing. We are so tired of these excuses of yours. We are so tired of all these things you tell yourselves so that you can stay away from your destiny. We will tell you another little thing. You are no longer allowing yourselves to be on this planet Earth unless you are here to take action. basically, there is no room for those who are not taking action. Yes, these words are hard, and no, we are not talking about any type of segregation. We're talking about evolution. We're talking about choice. And we're talking about growing up. You getting out of the rut you've been in for so long. You moving away from what you hate and moving into what you love. You know, today we have given you many different concepts, energetically speaking. These words, they could be interpreted as just words. Then again, they could change your life. Because you are the one doing the changing, aren't you? So you could look at these words and you could say, well, I like it, but it ain't for me, so, I'm just going to throw it in this trash can over here, and I'm just going to go home, and I'm going to go to my job on Monday, and I'm going to hate it, and I'm going to be miserable. Yeah, because the entire planet is miserable, right? Think again, dear ones. This planet is now a part of the Galactic Federation. As such, it is part of the central sun. As such, it is part of the consciousness of this universe. And that's why you have now connected to the central sun again. That's why this messenger and all those around him are setting up this school of life. To let go of all the crap, of all the illusions, of all the shit you've had to take and swallow. Letting go is... it's not going to be difficult. It's not going to be easy either. It's the easiest thing you can do, and yet it's the most difficult thing you can do. Because it's in the details, dear ones. It's in the details. You see, you can be as enlightened as the Pope. Well, bad example. You can be as enlightened as Gandhi. At the same time, you're holding on to so many little things that none of you are seeing, really. You're holding on to them, and they're not doing you any good. The belief systems. Although you read the books and you go to the meetings and you sit in the chairs and you do all the things and you donate the money to the third world and whatever it is you do, you save the puppies while you don't look at the person who you're passing on the street. Okay. But have you looked at your life? Have you really dared to examine your life? Have you? Have you looked at all these things that really aren't a part of you anymore? Have you? Let today then be an introduction to changing everything you know about yourself. Your relationship to money as an example. Because this is nothing, you see? You all see this as this threshold that you have to get over, and then you will be happy. Think again. Think again. Your money issues have been the most fun you've ever had. And letting that go, oh, that's going to be tough. That's going to be tough. We're not saying that you won't be having any fun. We're not saying that you won't be how shall we put this, that you won't be enjoying this experience you call earth. We're just saying that it will be a different experience. It will be one that will allow you to finally give birth to you, to finally become that part of you that you've always wanted to be. Now there is a reason why we are keeping our messenger far away from his body right now. And it is because if he were in this room, he would probably be frustrated. He would probably think, blah, 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 blah. The same old bullshit all over again. Well, no. You know why we are repeating the same old bullshit all over again? Because every sentence we are saying is being accepted for the very first time. For the very first time. And most of you aren't even listening to the words we're saying. Well, that's fine. Your energies are hearing them. They are. For the very first time. Oh, happy day. When Jesus walked. And that's the reason why we're doing this big summation today. We need to do this to remind your energy of who it really is. And you have grown so tired of this word, haven't you? Energy. Well then, why don't you become this energy? Why don't you let all the other things go and just focus on this? When we have said you have so many little things going on in your life that are keeping you away from who you really are, we are talking about your haircuts. We are talking about the clothes you are wearing. We are talking about the attitude and the appearance you want to have, the fake layer of yourself that you use to project your image onto other people. You know you have gotten to a point in society that is so twisted, that is so warped, that if you were to stop using all the products you're using and you were to return to your original scent of your bodies, you would think it stinks. This is how far removed you are from your own energy. Now, if that can happen to your body, imagine what has happened to your consciousness. Imagine what has happened to your mind. Imagine all the people. No? This is the other way it can go. And once you understand this, then you will see that all that is necessary to let go, to take these 12 that are more than 12 and that are less than 12, to take these and to unite them into the one that they in fact are. To take your 12 strands of DNA and to unite them into the one expression, the one bridge between matter and energy, the one portal that you are allowing yourself to create. Now, there's two more things we want to say. First thing has to do with the images you're seeing on the screen right now. Now, our messenger isn't one that would do this very often. But we want you to understand the way reality truly works. You see, even though these appear to be random patterns generated by a limited computer program, responding to the audio tracks that are playing in this computer, we are saying that these images are exactly in line with the energy that we are transmitting in the form of words. Now, you see how this can be? How these supposed unrelated events are in fact related? Well, if that is the case, then two unrelated events, namely you becoming a free person and you becoming free of the slavery that is money, are related too, are they not? For this too is just energy. And the fact that we have expressed this through you, the fact that we have expressed the fact that you can be free of the reign of money, creates the outcome that you seek. This is how it works. This is what it is like to be a master. Now tomorrow when we come back, as if we ever go away, we will take you on this journey. On this journey where you can let go of certain energies in your life, certain issues in your life. You will learn how to work with consciousness. You will go through the process of activating the Lemurian self and hence activating the Lemniscarian self. You will do all of these things. And again, we will take you one step further. We will go to objectified situation creation, where you can look at any situation from an objective point of view and create this situation or move it to a place of energy where you want it to be. Now, do you see? Do you see that this empty hand that is stretched out to you can be filled with anything? Maybe even your own hand, as we try to cross the bridge between you and who you used to be. And once your hand materializes here in front of ours, we will take it and we will move you. But this can go one step further, can it not? You can use this empty hand of yours to create anything. We want you to create your own lives, going back to the day your lives started, where the cosmic mastership has been completed, and you finally understand what creation is all about. You see anything you want to create, a chair for instance, in a shop, and you move your now time ahead and ahead and ahead and ahead, and you're days later from this event where you saw the chair, and then you go listening to our words and getting all frustrated because we are telling you that you can create matter from energy and that you are supposed to be able to create this chair we're telling you about. Well, how about you look at this from this angle? Why don't you go back to the moment you saw the chair and you make a different choice in your past? hence creating a different outcome of energy in your material world, where one chair that did not exist before is now present. If this is the case, you can do many more things. This is working with a lemniscarian self, where you use parts of the energy of the lemniscate that is behind you to create the lemniscate that is in front of you. This is the way of the Lemurian. This is the end of segmentation between Akash and Akunai. Because events will no longer be separated, you see. Events will no longer be segmented. They will just be one. And this is the third wave. You see now why we have been speaking about the coming together of light and dark? If your events, if your pasts and your futures need to be one, then you need to let go of polarity, and you need to let go of duality, and then you need to let go of all of these things that are no longer serving you. Imzaia, energy weaver, cosmic master. Then you need to let go of the drama, and is no longer serving you. Then when your wallet is stolen, you go back in time to change that fact. You can do that till the end of this natural life on this planet. And you can do that with so many different things. In fact, we couldn't even think of one where you couldn't. The only thing we can think of is where you would influence the words of another. Now we are talking Lemurian. Now we are talking Avalonian. Now we are talking enlightened being. Energy weaver. We will now close this session. For it is time to open your stomachs to the food, to this experience of earth, to the joy of your taste buds, and to everything that makes this master and this angel sitting in front of us human. It is in this trinity of angel, master, and human that your greatest power is present. If you want to change something on any of these three levels, all you need to do is take a look at these other two levels. For where a human seems to be unequipped to travel back in time and make a different choice, a master is able to do this. Where a human is limited in its traveling through the dimensions, a master is able to do this. Where a human and a master are not capable of looking at this planet Earth and this experience from a completely different perspective, an angel has always done this. It is time you remember this. It is time you remember this. It is time we shut the hell up as well. Enjoy your night's rest. Know that you have experienced a miracle today by opening the portals that you have. And so, dear ones, it is with our most abundant joy with our most prosperous of respect and our most heartfelt balance and love, that we now retreat this energy that is being transmitted into words to each and every one of your hearts. We will return tomorrow for practical information to show you how you can do all of these things that we have talked about today, and basically just to sit with you and have some fun. And so, as this conversation was guided by the energy of the Jeshua, who is translating for this central sun that is us, so we believe in you, and so it is.
Why don't we all come together right now in this moment and make a pact? Let us make a pact that this is the first moment of your ascended existence. This is the beginning of a deepening of the path that you hadn't found before. Yes, often you turned to theory, you turned to what you had been taught. But let us now say that everything that has happened to you in the life that came before this moment is now integrated. This means that no longer shall karma find a space in your reality. No longer shall reactions be the result of actions. No longer shall you allow yourself to be fooled and tricked by that which you call your memory. Let us make this pact that this is the beginning of a new way of life. That whatever came before, you will now finalize, as you will prepare for the years ahead, for the ascension of all matter, which is an inevitable individual process and a global process, and for the world that awaits you after that. Because, Imzaia, when I started talking through this body many years ago, and I started a class that you know as the Mastering the Grand Illusion series,
I spoke from a point that you considered the future. This has been said often, that I projected myself inward to your reality from the past, but outward to your reality from what you consider the future. The past would be considered the fluid Lemuria. The future would be considered New Earth. This vague concept that all of you have carried with you throughout all of these years, that allowed you to grasp and hold on to your biggest dreams. Dreams that today in this earth you see shattered in front of you as everything is closing down in such a way that it can no longer be ignored. But I, Ikara, am here today to tell you, celebrate the closing of the old and look forward to the opening of the new. Because, Imzaia, you hold the key. Not only do you hold the key, but you are the key maker. You are the one that decides which lock gets turned and which door gets opened. For even if we exist on a timeline that is going towards ascension of all matter, and where many beings with us have worked on creating the perfect timeline, still the outcome of this timeline, albeit positive in every single way, is a fluid one. The fluidity is a good thing, but not if it means that you allow others to create and fill in the blanks for you. In the 2 years that are ahead now, which is one of the reasons why this Sovereign Ascension Spectrum technique is coming out, there are a lot of blanks that still need to be filled in. And you have trained yourselves, you have prepared yourselves throughout the ages to make sure that you would be ready to take upon you that part, that responsibility. While many Imzaia are now going, responsibility is not part of the Imzaia collective. Well, yes, it is, and no, it isn't. I am talking about the responsibility that comes with knowing that which is truth. And one of the things that happens with a being that learns about truth is the following. They become ambassadors for it. The reason why that happens is that as this truth begins to emerge from their lives, it becomes impossible to not share it through deeds and actions and words and theories and practice with others. To now step forward into a new space, which is your sovereign ascension spectrum, where magic can take place at any given moment. That is why this message right now is for you. You listening to this, in this moment, you are opening up once again to the magic in your life. Did you know, Imzaia, that the world is a magical place? Did you know that miracles happen every second? I bet a part of you would say yes, but I also know that a big part of you doesn't recognize these things, no matter where you are on the path today. It is my intent in opening up your sovereign ascension spectrum in this introduction to it, to change this paradigm for you once and for all. Magic does happen. Miracles are plentiful. and you are the one creating them. But do you understand what that means? It doesn't mean that when you create something, you necessarily see the end result of it. Oh no. No. You are all creators of peace. You are all creators of beauty. You are all creators of expansion and of love and joy, etc. Yet, these things do not always manifest in your life, and yet there is a part of you that is always enabling these things to pour out and to flow into the lives of either yourself and your loved ones or the lives of unknown people out there. We must reorient the energy that is operating within you, that you call life force, to work both ways. So far, in the days that were past now, and the many days that have come before that, your life force was a one-directional device. It meant that you could emit it, but you could not see the world through it. At this point in time, that is changing. You can start seeing the world through the life force that is within you. The only reason for that is that everything that is outside of you, or that appears to be outside of you, is turning into the same substance. It also means that on one level, your difficulties are ending. On another level, new ones are beginning. The difficulties that will represent themselves now are not about survival or any of these things the way they have been before, but simply, Imzaia, about communication. Do you understand what that means? Communication. Communication in this hologram has been widely misunderstood as a space that exists between two or more participants wanting to interact with each other. And when they do, communication is born. No. Actually, the funny thing is that in the past when this happened, usually when people got together to talk, communication ended. And when people thought of someone in the privacy of their own space is when they had the good thoughts about someone or the heartfelt feelings about someone, because they had the representation of that energy that is being represented inside of their own energy field of that person to connect to. Now, as you move from co-creation to intercreation, no longer will energy fields overlap from time to time. They will always be overlapping. you.